Hello students, as you know we have covered almost all the types of soil. 3 were left which will be covered in this video. The very first one is desert soil. Okay, then comes your marshy soil. And the last one is your mountainous soil or mountain soil. Again, what you have to do is form a table and try to compare these. When we talk about the desert soil, you know that humidity is there. Okay, moreover, the desert region, it is not having very high rainfall, so her rainfall is very less. Evaporation rate is very high. So the arid type of temperature is there, climate is there, and the texture of the soil is sandy. It is not having moisture in it. Okay, the low amount of clay, you can say, is there, as these soils, these are very sandy. Leaching is there, due to leaching of the soil is there, but it is very less in extent. This soil is mostly light brown in color. The desert soil, it is generally saline, and the reason is the rate of evaporation is there. Very high rate of evaporation is there. When we talk about the regions, you know that India is having desert, Thar desert. That is one of the region. Area of Punjab is there. Some of the area we have discussed in the previous video. Haryana, it is covered. Some of the coastal regions are also there. River courses are also there, which are having this type of soil, this type of desert soil. Then the crops grown are, they should just keep in mind that water should be in proper amount. Water should be given in proper amount. Like the irrigation, it should be very proper if we want to grow crops like rice, pulses, vegetables. Fruits are also grown, and mostly the fruits, vegetables, millets, etc. are grown when the area of the desert, it is having oasis. The oasis region, it is having the vegetation, or it supports agriculture. As you know, the groundwater availability is there. Then comes your marshy soil. Again, what you have to do, it is also known as peaty soil. All the features you have to remember in the same way. It is mostly found in the humid regions where there is where there is accumulation of large amount of organic matter. Okay, in the soil, the large amount of accumulated organic matter is there. Water logging is there, due to which anaerobic condition of the soil is present. And in such a condition, you know, water logging is there, oxygen content, it is very low. So what kind of the cultivation you can see over such areas is like fisheries can be there, small shrubs can be there, but woody plants, they are not present to that extent. Okay, and it is black, heavy, highly acidic, highly saline. It is not having potash, as well as phosphate is absent. And having iron, it is having amount of aluminium sulfate as well. Okay, the regions, you can say the regions are Kerala, the regions of Kerala, coastal regions of Odisha, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu. And when we talk about the central portion, the northern portion of Bihar is having this type of soil, and Almora district of Uttarakhand is also having this type of soil. And this soil, it is good for paddy cultivation and sugarcane cultivation, and that also in rainy seasons. Okay, these marshes are very good as they are helpful in avoiding floods. The reason is that they absorb water very quickly and they release it very slowly into the waterways. Very slowly, I am saying, they release the water into the waterways. So this can help us to avoid the floods. Then comes your mountain soil. When we talk about this soil, you know that we are talking about mountain regions. The mountainous regions are talked about, which means the height should be very high, about 2100 to 3000 to 3000 meters. 2100 to 3000 meters. So in this type of soil, what happens, the texture, it depends upon the nature. What kind of forest is present, what kind of mountains are there, all these things depend. Okay, So whether it is in the warm temperate belt or in the cold temperate belt, whether the temperature is very high, whether temperature is very low, whether it is a moderate type of temperature, the soil texture depends on all these things, whether the river is coming from that region or not. And mountain region, they are divided into two parts. When we talk about the mountainous soil, it is divided into two parts depending upon the areas, you can say, or depending upon the heights. The very first one is your podzol. It is the mid altitude region in which you can see the coniferous type of forests are there. And when we talk about coniferous type of forest, deodar, chir, blue pine, these type of trees can be grown or are seen over there. And the areas are like Assam, Darjeeling, Uttarakhand, Himachal, all these, they are having such type of forests. So the soil depends upon all these things. When we talk about the other region, that is your high altitude, and in such regions the soil, it is brown and earth type, you can say, and red colored soil is there. The forest cover, it depends what kind of forest cover is there, the amount of rainfall it is receiving. High altitude soil, okay, it is very highly leached. Okay, the acidity is, again, it is very acidic. Then comes your fertility. It is less fertile as compared to this one, podzol. It is present where very high altitude region is there. Sometimes when we talk about the frozen regions, as a very high altitude temperature, it is very low, so the frozen regions are also there. So the snow cover is there, due to which the soil, what kind of soil would you expect from such a region which is not having direct sunlight? I mean to say, it is covered with snow, that's why it is not getting the direct sunlight. So it is not properly made, the soil is immature, okay, as it remains under the snow mostly. So such regions can be, you can say, the high altitude regions of Kashmir, then Eastern Ghats also, then comes your Himachal also. All these regions, they are having, which are at very high altitude, they are having such type of soil. So what kind of crops can be grown are like wheat, maize, barley, tropical fruits, etc. They are grown over there. Tea, coffee are mostly grown. Okay, and scientific management is very much required in such type of soils, so that we can maintain the fertility of the soil. Even the manures are added. Again, two types of manures are there, the chemical fertilizers are also added, the biofertilizers are also added. So it depends what kind of the conservation is done, what kind of people are there, what type of mindsets are they having. So all these things matter a lot. Our basic motive of understanding a chapter is to complete the paper or to attempt the questions, which means that you have to remember what kind of a soil is present in what kind of a region, what type of crop can be grown in such a soil, it is having potash, it is having nitrogen or not, is it good for cultivation or not. All these things are to be kept into your mind, so that you can do the questions very well and you can attempt them very quickly. As you know, the bifurcation is there in your paper, so they ask such questions in which you have to directly think about the characteristics, directly name them, directly name the regions. Okay, so be very careful when you learn the things. Also, you have to compare them, and you have to learn by comparing, as it is very easy when you compare these soils and then learn. You have a table in your book in which 4 types of soils are compared. What I want is, what my personal experience says is that you should compare all the soils. What I mean by all the soils is that make a table in which all types of soil are covered, and you write the characteristics which are important, write the regions, write the crops, write the rainfall, write the types, so that it is easy for you to learn the thing. So we will be discussing about soil erosion. When we talk about soil erosion, you all know what soil erosion is. Soil erosion is the removal or removing the topmost layer of the soil, which is the fertile layer of the soil, due to some agents, and the agents can be water, wind, tides can be there, or you can say even the landslides are also responsible. So now we will be discussing about the different types of soil erosion, and which is mostly done by running water is your sheet erosion, in which the whole sheet is removed. Sheet erosion. Okay, in this what happens, if I am showing you this vertical section, this type of erosion in which this sheet is removed, it is known as sheet erosion, and the agent is again water. So you know that the rainwater, when it comes and the heavy rainfall is there, this type of erosion is there. Again, it is harmful. Erosion, whether it is due to the soil, due to the water, due to the wind, it is harmful. Okay, then comes your rill erosion. When we talk about rill, this type of projections are there. Finger like projections or finger like gaps can be seen in the land. So it is like this, it appears like this. When we talk about gully erosion, when these get widened, okay, or when the slope of the hills, they are steep, it happens over there. The heavy downpour of the rain, it removes the soil, the soil cover is removed, and it becomes deeper and deeper. So the portion, it looks like this part is gone. This is the gully erosion. Now I can show you this with the help of one figure so that it is much more clear to you. You can see with the help of this picture that this type of erosion is your sheet erosion, in which you can see that this whole sheet, this yellow colored part, it is removed. Whole sheet is removed. This part, it is removed. Only these are left. The reason can be any. If these are left, maybe the root of some plant is there, due to which they are left, or they are bound very tightly. Then comes your rill erosion. You can see the finger like projections over here. This is your rill erosion. Okay. Then comes the last one. This is your gully erosion, in which you can see that this whole part, it is being removed, and it is in the flow, mostly the flow of the water. The water is flowing in this way, so that's why it is like this. Now you can see in this also, this is your sheet erosion, the very first one. Then comes your rill erosion, and then is your gully erosion. Okay, the next type of erosion which is caused due to your water is your stream bank erosion. That can also be seen with the help of one picture, and that picture is this one. When we talk of such kind of stream bank erosion, what happens is, see, this is the bank. Let me change the color so that it is much more visible. This is the bank. This is the bank. Water is coming. This is the normal level. This is the normal level. When the flood comes, the level rises. Even this part, it also gets eroded. So this bed, it is getting wider. It is getting wider. So this type of erosion, it is known as stream bank erosion. Okay. Shore erosion. Let us say this is a beach. Let us say this is a beach. The tides are coming. These are the tides. They are coming. They erode this part. Only this part. These are the low tides. When the high tides will come, what will happen is, the high tides are coming and they will erode the next part. Similarly, if the high tides, the tides, they rise to more extent, then this will happen. This part will also be eroded. So this type of erosion is your shore erosion. The shore is getting eroded. Shore erosion. So we have discussed about sheet erosion. Sheet erosion is done. Then we have discussed about sheet is done. Rill erosion we have done. Then comes your gully erosion we have discussed. We have seen also. Then comes your stream bank erosion. Done. Then next one I have told you, that is your shore erosion. This is due to the tides. Then comes your wind erosion. When we talk about wind erosion, you know that agent is wind. Reasons can be many, like you can say if the vegetation cover is not there, then also wind can take the soil with it. If the soil is very dry, the wind will come and take the soil. If the wind is at very high speed, it will come and take the soil with it, along with it. Okay, so this is your wind erosion. Other agents which can cause erosion is, very first one is nature of rainfall. What kind of rainfall is there? Nature of rainfall. When we talk about rainfall, it is very high or low. If it is very high, which means it is very dangerous. The rapid downpour, it is very dangerous. It is the cause of mostly gully erosion and sheet erosion also. But the rain, it should be very high. The downpour should be very rapid. Then comes your nature of soil. What kind of soil are we talking? Okay, then comes your nature of soil. If we are talking about the soil, if it is very porous, it is sandy, it is having good absorbing capacity. So depends whether sheet erosion will be there, whether the erosion will be due to the agent water or wind. It depends upon the nature of the soil. Then is your human factors. The last is your human factors. When we talk about human factors, we are the cause. Like we result, the forests are not there. Why? Because we are cutting them. Okay, so deforestation is there due to we people. Overgrazing is there due to animals. And if we are allowing them to go and overgraze, then we are responsible for this thing. We are responsible for erosion. Then are the areas which are prone to soil erosion in India. The very first one is Himalayas, mountainous region. Himalayas. That also the Shivalik range. Okay, then comes your riverbanks. This we have discussed. The riverbanks are very prone. Northeastern region, rainfall is very much over those regions, northeastern regions. This we have discussed, that rainfall is very heavy over those regions. Then the arid regions, wind erosion can be there. Then comes your Nilgiris. The Nilgiris, again due to heavy rainfall, erosion can be there. So how can we protect? What are the ways of protecting or conserving our soil? Conservation of soil. When we talk about conservation, these points are very easy. These you can do on your own as well, but I'll be discussing some of the points. Like the very first one is growing trees, that is afforestation. Okay, growing trees which will result in the cover. Okay, the soil will be covered. Check overgrazing. Check overgrazing. If the overgrazing is done, it should be checked. Constructing dams. Dams should be constructed. Then comes your legal banning. There should be banning, like if the people, they are preferring zooming cultivation, you must be aware of that cultivation. If they are thinking about shifting cultivation, or they leave the land barren, okay, they leave the barren land, or the overcultivated land is left, that should not be there. That should be banned by the government. Shelter belts to check the wind. Then your contour plowing, terrace farming. Okay, hilly areas, these things are preferred. Strip cropping is preferred. Strips of crops are grown. Strip by stripes are like you can see the stripes. They can be vertical, they can be horizontal, depends what kind of you can say area it is. Then is your technical help, financial help. Okay, all these are some ways of conserving the soil.